The other one I was going to say with this is a pattern I've noticed with a few clients. It's like OCD holds people hostage, and it does it by saying, okay, if you challenge me, I'm going to get so intense that it's going to be unbearable. And it kind of relates to the core fears that we're going to talk about tonight, in the core fear of unhappiness, really. It's like OCD says, you challenge me, I'm going to trigger so much intrusive thoughts you just won't be able to function, or you're going to get depressed, you'll feel depressed and you don't want to be depressed, or you might actually lose control because you're going to be so overwhelmed by this, or other things like that. Like, it feels like this huge monster. And so we go, okay, let's feed that monster. I won't challenge the hostage. I'm going to mix my metaphors here, but I won't, challenge the person holding me hostage. I'll just keep being, compliant here because it feels so scary. Or the metaphor might be feeding the tiger. We're like, it's a small little tiger, but we're so frightened of, we start feeding it and we think that's keeping it at bay, and we think, okay, I can feed this tiger a bit, but I can live my life quite well still, reasonably well, and it's better to just feed the tiger and live my life than it is to challenge it, and this big huge tiger is going to come at me. But the reality is, all the time we're feeding the tiger, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's taking over more time. And sometimes it doesn't continuously get bigger because it hits natural ceilings. It hits, like, for some people, it hits the point where I'm not going to do compulsions all day because I've got to work, or I've got a family, or there's some reason, some values-based reason that sort of puts a ceiling on the total compulsion. So it's like the tiger gets so big, and then we're not overfeeding it, so it sort of stays the same size. But the problem is that, like, it's still a massive tiger we're feeding, and it's taking up loads and loads of time and energy and focus. We can't really enjoy our life. So people do that because they're afraid of facing it, but really it's not a way to live. If we're really honest, that middle ground of, like, I'm feeding this thing a lot and I'm kind of functioning and living, it isn't a great place to be, and it doesn't give us a chance to show our brain that I can handle this, and I don't need to do the compulsions, and I can handle all these thoughts and feelings and live my life, because we don't give it the chance to do that. So when you're in that place of being held hostage, workability is key, and really going into the honest costs. People who are in that zone are often not completely honest with themselves about how much time it's taking, how difficult it is making life, because they're often doing stuff still. They're working, they're seeing people, they're doing, they might have, be taking care of responsibilities. So I have to be really honest and go, this is taking a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of focus, and really map that out and be honest about it, and the honest costs across the long term as well. Then we need to really tune into our values and goals, and what's the key motivator there that will get us to challenge it and go towards it. What can't we do because of all that time feeding the tiger, and really try to get in with all of that. Then skills, like, it's much easier to face that tiger if our skills are really strong. So even if you're not challenging it that much, but you're not letting it grow, and you're just repeating your skills over and over and over again, give that long enough, it might become easier to challenge it. Doing it very gradually can help. A little bit of a challenge. I'm not going to feed the tiger today quite so much. A little bit less, a little bit less. Look at where you're not feeding it. So you'll be doing loads of compulsions somewhere, but then there's these areas in life you don't do it because of a values-based reason. So it's being honest with yourself. Okay, like, why am I not doing compulsions all day? And obviously some of us are, and I certainly have been at times, but if I'm doing lots of mental compulsions, why aren't I doing lots of physical compulsions? Why aren't I doing total avoidance? And that's probably because I need to work. There's certain lines that I won't cross. There's certain things where I'm like, I'm not going to let OCD take that much. Well, if I can challenge it there, why can't I challenge it other places and do more challenging? If I've got these sort of ceilings on OCD, well, what's to stop me creating more ceilings there? pushing the edge of it, so getting right up to the edge of it, even to the point where I can't challenge it, but working my skills, working my urge surfing, working my motivation skills at the edge of it. And then if I can't do it today, fine, okay, back away, try again, get to the edge of it, right, work my skills, okay, maybe if I do that enough days, eventually I'll be able to do it. And a lot of self-compassion around all of this as well. Because it's hard, and a lot of people are stuck in that middle ground where OCD hasn't taken over all of their life, but it's taken over a lot. And so we're not alone in that, and it's hard to challenge it, but it is worth challenging it. It is massively worth it, because you can do so much more. I mean, I wouldn't be doing anything I'm doing now if I hadn't challenged it. I wouldn't be married, I wouldn't have kids, I wouldn't be working as a therapist, I wouldn't be enjoying my life, I wouldn't be going off to America next week to the IOCDF conference, wouldn't be getting on planes, wouldn't be doing any of that stuff if I hadn't challenged it. So it's about, it is worth challenging. It isn't good to leave it, this massive tiger there that I'm feeding all the time and trying to live next to.